Bros Play!
All right, dude. Welcome to Solomance.
Sorry, this isn't retail WoW?
No, this is not retail
I'm not
WoW.
interested.
Yeah, well, you don't like playing things that aren't.
Can I have that dragon in 56 minutes?
You could probably have it in less, actually.
Oh, then
yeah,
I'm in.
We'll get there.
So this is, if I'm correct, a solo server?
You can play it solo. You can play it with people. But yeah, this is my take on how old people can play Lich King.
Huh.
Yeah, without having to put in the hundreds of hours, but, still getting the full experience.
Oh.
I want to play a shaman.
So it's for cheaters.
Well, oh yeah, you wait, you'll see.
I will wait.
I figured as a nice callback, you know what? We're just going to randomize this guy until we see something cool.
Yeah, although I do like orcs,
I like that.
because I've been playing Classic.
Yeah.
I do like orcs. However, their hair is, like, really fucked. Like,
All their
there's
styles?
very few good styles. That's my favorite one.
That's a good one. I do love how many of them look like bald old men.
Yeah.
Like, where is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hang on, maybe...
That's pretty much bald white man right there.
I thought there was more bald ones. Maybe
bald
not.
green man.
All right. No, I'm good with that. All right, let's do it.
Have you ever seen that video? Where there's a woman, people do, like, RL streaming. You ever heard of that?
Real life streaming, yes.
Yeah.
Creepy.
So she's in a what's it called? She's in a like a bus, and the people on the are saying things out loud on her phone, like they're making they're paying to make fart sounds and stuff like that, right?
Oh, okay.
And so she's like, "You're very embarrassing," and then it comes on and it goes, "Attention, bald white man, bald white man, bald white man."
Oh my god. Permit me a moment to modify this for all the things that I normally need.
I figured you would just do this.
Well, I wanted to make the character. I wanted everyone to see it.
Yeah. Bartender lets you just quick.
Well, I'm sure Bartender's amazing.
It is actually amazing.
Yeah.
There's a reason why it's been used for like 15 years.
This is also part of the authentic WoW experience, which is fixing all the shitty key bindings
on a private server you've designed.
But it's all about the authentic experience for the most part. So this is
already unusual.
Yeah, so I made a few modifications, so you can get all the heirloom gear right off the bat. So you can, just cutting down some of the. Can I use staffs? I can use a staff.
You can use as staff as a shaman?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Well, especially because there's no heirloom shield for some reason.
Those are not lore appropriate shoulders. Those are warlock shoulders.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. They're definitely, I think they're called like Dread Mist or something, so they're definitely meant to be like that.
And how many things did you just get?
So I think, I don't know, 8 or 9 specific ones. Oh, my macros don't exist. What the fuck? That's so weird.
Yeah, those are probably computer specific, aren't they?
Maybe. I didn't think so. But anyways. So yeah,
go to the character screen. You can press Alt on each, like hold Alt on the slot and choose from all of the things in your inventory that work in that slot.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you can just quickly take things off.
Yeah, and put other things
if you want to like look at your character naked quickly.
Oh, that's pretty
That's
dope.
a big factor for me.
Oh, you can
video
put them,
games.
Yeah, it's all about seeing them nude.
How quickly can you become naked?
Oh yeah, you're a weirdo.
Well, it's not weird if everybody's into it. It's normal.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's normal.
All right. Well, then you know what? I'm gonna waste everyone's time for 2 seconds. I'm gonna actually make some macros here. Okay. So this is going to be
People
for running.
People who watch videos about WoW are very used to their time being wasted. I mean, we're talking about a game that not only makes you run back and forth, makes you run to places you've already been, talk to people, like talk to someone, go somewhere, come back to talk to them to confirm something. But also, it's a game that just straight up says you can't do that for another 23 hours.
Oh, that's so true.
Like it just straight up says time is not of the essence, time is the essence.
That's all we care about here. Yeah, well, I figured normally I would go through and I would make all my pictures appropriate, but it takes forever to scroll through that, so we're not going to bother with that.
Yeah, there's enough scrolling nowadays.
This just, you could go ahead and do it manually, like taking it off each time, but I find this much easier.
Now, can you make a macro that has spawn horse make horse kick tree fart on dog?
Maybe. I could look into it.
You ever see a YouTube
really
video
important
that perfectly sums up, like the title is exactly what happens in the video?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's
Maybe.
horse kicks tree, scares dog by farting.
Oh,
and then that's
okay,
the whole fucking video.
yes.
And the video has like millions of views, which is funny because normally YouTube videos do well by intriguing you, but that one like blows the
Just
whole load.
outright, yeah.
Like, right out. It's just like, hey, you're not gonna get any more than what you're getting.
All right, so we are going to. I guess I don't need this anymore. So we're gonna do this experience the fast way. You can do it as fast or slow as you want because it starts off with regular XP, but I'm just gonna jack it all the way up to 100x. So we'll just make that easy. And
You're
then
playing WoW like a speedrunner.
that's kind of the plan. So like, you can get around really quickly because I included some rocket boots because you never know when you might need to go straight to Severoth.
Straight Sarkoff?
Sakharov?
Sakharov?
Sarkoth. And
Sakharov.
unlike you, I like to play with unit frames. So we're going to go ahead and level up here.
Well, in one go. I mean, that does actually kind of happen in
on
Classic,
100x?
because I've done...
Oh, dude. We should go straight to level 5. Yeah, okay. So that takes us straight to 5. And then, so we're going to use... So this is 100% increased speed.
Holy moly!
So that'll get us...
He's running!
Oh, I didn't even accept the first quest. Okay, so now we're going to do...
Oh my God!
Now we're going to do, like, maximum speed so that we can really get between cities.
You don't even need to do the opening quest. I'm actually working on a short video right now that I don't know if I'll make or not, but it's about how great everything you just skipped is. Like it's the whole thing that leads from there all the way up to Sarkoth, or Sarkaroth, whatever his name is, which is like a great final boss for that area, and then you leave, right?
Right.
So like the whole thing works really well. It does make you go back and forth, but it also teaches you that you're gonna do that.
Where's your delete button?
My delete
I'm using
button?
an unusual computer, so you'll have to...
You're using a normal computer.
I'm using a
Your
different
computer
computer
is
from what
unusual.
I'm used to, okay? Okay, there we go. Now my macros are working.
Are you gonna talk to the secret troll over there?
Is a secret troll?
Yeah, that guy. See him?
Oh,
He's
maybe.
just sneaking.
He's not really...
He's the one... He's very sneaky.
He's not very
You can-
aware,
you
though.
can tell, because
I could just sneak up on him and kill him.
What?
Instead of nowhere.
What?
I mean, you can't actually do that on my server. That's just because I'm a GM. But,
Oh my God, you're
sometimes someone pisses me
You're
off.
like Homelander.
I am God.
You
Actually,
just
look
walk
at the
over to a man and
look at the guild
smash
message of the day.
his face.
Daily reminder that down here I am God. That is all.
I think you should push it further and do the entire legitimate quote from The Matrix, where it's like, daily reminder, I built this place. Down here, I'm God.
I could do that.
Yeah.
That would not be hard. Yeah,
This is amazing, by the way. WoW's recruitment for new and old players would go 1,000x if the trailer was like bum ba da dum ba da 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 da, and it's just
This is the speedboat travel.
Honestly, thought that I was gonna have to take the piss out of the game in order to like make this an entertaining experience, but I didn't realize that it was gonna be like WoW on fucking steroids is steroids.
Oh, absolutely on steroids. And
this is like the drugs that OJ was doing when
so
he
was
allegedly when he was civilly held responsible for the deaths of 2 people, but not criminally.
Right, when he may or may not have done a thing.
I mean, whoever killed those people, it was the most horrific experience of their life, and it was brutal. I mean, it's Warcraft, so we're about to talk about brutal stuff. I mean, most of the quests in this game have you doing worse shit than whomever killed, what's her name?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I mean, there's severed heads in this game, right? Her head was almost severed with a kitchen knife.
Oof.
Which is a horrible severing knife.
They're not good. No one keeps those things sharp. See, that's what they don't understand. That's like cutting your heart out with a spoon.
Well, that was her
reference.
fatal mistake was opening the door with a sharp kitchen knife. That was her knife.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say that's why you're not supposed to have any weapons in the home, because they're more likely to be used against you by OJ.
Which is
pretty
why,
sure that's the stat.
civilly speaking, responsible, not criminally responsible. That's why I keep a spoon under my mattress, so that if someone comes in, I can like...
You can carve their heart out.
No, they'll be like, oh!
I didn't mean that.
Oh!
Yeah, and then there's also... I just thought it would be fun, so I doubled the number of talent points you get, so you can actually finish 2 talent trees instead of 1.
Wow.
Making you a nice hybrid model.
It's so funny, before this video, I was talking to you about how new WoW just robs you of all consequence and wins. And there's like no reason to play it, because all you're doing is milling around pretending to be the class that you are, until you get into PvP or a legit dungeon or something. And you suddenly realize there's just moves you've never even used before.
Because you don't need them, yeah.
You've never... I'm playing a Classic Warrior right now. And what I love about Classic Warriors is things like their... Oh my God, I just looked over at the monitor that's recording this, and it's barely keeping up with the speed that we're...
It's just funny. You just showed me a video where you time-lapsed this exact travel, and now we're doing it in time-lapse real
it's
time.
the same rhythm. What was I just saying? I forgot.
We were talking about like how when you go to PvP, you discover all the moves that you didn't even realize existed. 'Cause you didn't need them.
So Classic Warriors, they're running out of rage all the time. So when you get an ability that just gives you rage, I forget what it's called. There's an ability you get around like level 10, I think, and it's a talent actually. It just gives you rage and health. It's a big deal. But in New WoW, I have 100% rage at the end of every encounter. My rage dump isn't as good as my rage building devices.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, well then
so
that's
I have 100%
a bummer.
rage. No reason to dump it, because my abilities that I use that do more damage, that give me rage, come up often enough that you're barely ever dumping rage.
Wow.
But in Classic, which in my opinion is new because I never played Classic.
At the time,
right,
yeah.
So like it's actually new to me. But in Classic, you don't have to do anything, because it doesn't even... It does more than hold your hand. It gives you no reason to need to hold someone's hand. Like in Classic, I'm constantly looking at where to go and how to do, and I have Questy, which is like Quest Helper from back in the day. But I found that I wasn't interested in the game when I knew where I was going. It's more fun to read and go, oh, it's at the Forgotten Pools, which is north of the Crossroads. So then you go up there, and you're not sure if you're in the right place, and that's the fun of Classic WoW.
Right, having to figure it out. It's that's the actual RP in RPG, right?
The roleplay?
Well, exactly, right? You're the guy who gets told by the apothecary that he needs some fungal spores, and you got to go find them, right? Because now you're like, well, it's showing me one of these 3 spots, and I don't see any spores here, because somebody else probably took them, and you just kind of get discouraged. Whereas back in the day, you would have had to look and be like, I see fucking palm trees. Like, that's got to be an oasis.
So I'm really curious why, if you can move this quickly, why not just allow new players to go straight to 70?
Interesting. Like in just level, like the last little bit there?
Yeah.
I guess there's no specific reason why not. But part of the reason that I chose to leave it this way is that it's kind of a choose your own adventure. So you can absolutely level at regular speed. My favorite.
Oh, I see. So you gave those items so the person can choose to blast to level 20 and then just play normal.
Yeah, exactly.
It's basically like a cheat code because cheat codes came from developers. Look like they needed ways to move through their own game.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
One thing that I found when I was doing this early on, my favorite private servers ever are like 10x experience, because then you can go to each place, do a couple quests, and you've made enough experience to move on to the next place. So to me, that was the most fun part of it, and so I wanted there to be options, but I realized I'd have to make like 20 different servers if I wanted to have like a bunch of different... and then, so yes, there's also flight paths.
Teleporting flight paths.
And they're all available right off the bat. The worst part about playing at 100x is just getting all your goddamn skill ups and your new skills. Like, it takes more time to come back to Orgrimmar than it does to actually level.
I actually really like that about Classic. I like how I'm paying attention to where my professions are and where my class is. and when it makes sense for me to make a pilgrimage back. And then I'm focusing on where my Hearthstone goes so that I can fly back and then Hearth, then immediately get that cooldown started so that hopefully by the end of my play session, I can then Hearth back whenever I want.
Right. And that makes sense because, one thing I've actually done is I've included a Dalaran portal for everyone. So you can set your Hearthstone to be more unusual places. Like if you go to Kazakhstan all the time for some reason, or you decide that you want to have it in like a place near where you would farm, you can set your Hearthstone out there, and then you just have like a free Dalaran portal.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, certain classes have a second Hearth, right? Don't shamans have a second Hearth?
They do. They do. And then also if you... Whoops. I'm going a little fast here, folks.
You're a little slippery.
I apologize.
You look like you're playing fucking Gary's mod.
Sometimes it feels like that.
Flying.
Where are we going? Camp Trasho.
Holy shit. You're wearing the clothes that took me 10 hours to get on my mage.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
Like that dress?
Well, so we're level 20 now, and level 20 would definitely take you somewhere in the area of like 10 hours back in the day.
This is really high quality Let's Play content, I gotta say. Like, normally we take the piss out of ourselves, but like, this is very compelling content.
I'm glad you enjoy it, brother. Forget, the only thing that I'm kind of trying to remember, because I've done this before, is which quests are actually worthwhile. Because I can't kill 12 of something, I'd already be level 30.
So... There's oh yeah, right, because once you go past you don't get any experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So it's like you can't, I'm not gonna waste my time.
Now, there's one thing that you have to do when you're in the Barrens, and this is going to decide whether people really want to play your server or not.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what happened to Mancrick's wife?
Oh
my God!
I do know
on the fucking
Mancrick's wife.
Yeah, can you find her without a map?
Oh yeah.
Because so in Classic they rate. Oh, she's right there.
She's right here.
In Classic, she's
there. She is.
Beaten corpse.
Beaten corpse.
Didn't even give her a name.
I'm pretty sure that's defacing a corpse.
So the old joke in because you remember Baron's chat was like its own type of chat. It was like as based as you could expect before the word based existed.
Right.
Baron's chat was just filled with like really inappropriate shit, and so there was a lot of what are they called? Chuck Norris jokes.
Okay, yeah.
And
classic. One
of them was like Mancrick's wife didn't die; she just ran off with Chuck Norris. But now it's like, no, Derek, the fucking god man, fucking came in and murdered her dead body.
I am the God King.
Because after that, it gets consumed by hatred, which you have to get 60 tusks,
right?
Which usually means about 30 enemies. But it's considered a higher level quest because it just takes so long to get through 30 enemies. But Mancrick's wife is actually considered a higher level quest because it's near higher level enemies, even though you don't need to fight them to get Mancrick's wife. So it's like a nice little freebie in Classic.
Yeah, it's some bonus experience in a way. And that is a very good point. I'm now realizing I might be out of my depth.
You almost died back at the Forgotten Pools.
I did, and that's actually one of the problems. I forgot when I was in Orgrimmar to go and get any training whatsoever. God damn it! God damn it!
So how does how does a private server, like, how do you get a private server running? Is it running through Blizzard?
No. So there's a few different architectures. God damn, these fucking stalkers are everywhere. All right, I'm out of here, folks. It's all over now. So there's a few different, what they call a core that you can use. So I'm running Azeroth core, which is a more recent one, but then there's Trinity core and Owned core. And they basically provide you all of the framework, and then also have instant water and food as well, just for good measure.
100,001.
Yeah, it was just a number that was arbitrarily impossibly high. So they will provide you with the core game. So it's basically 3.3.5 patch of Lich King with no modifications whatsoever. You can then run that on your computer, and if you want to just play on your own, you can just connect to yourself pretty easily. But then what I did is, because we were also building the supernotcool.ca website at the same time, so I actually got a server PC that's currently back home running right now. And so basically this is just connecting into our IP, and then once it connects into our IP, it gets redirected to the program and logs you in.
That's pretty wicked.
Yeah, it's kind of nice that it there's like no more maintenance associated with it. Woo, that was tight.
So you've worked on this for a long time now.
Yeah, I actually was trying to figure out the other day how long I've been working on this. I think it's been about 8 months or so. Yeah. And in fact, I built this part of the experience that you and I are playing in like a week. And then
and the intention,
like
this is to you want like to show a lot of people this. Like,
yeah,
what's the legality around making a server that doesn't pay Blizzard, right?
Yeah, it's murky. One thing that generally seems to be established is that if you're not making money off the server, they tend not to care,
right?
Because they understand that it's sort of like a nostalgia thing. What they don't appreciate, it gets even sketchier when you start to get donations, because then you're actually turning a profit. But what they really seem to crack down on is anybody who would like get paid subscriptions. Then you're like really into the no-go territory.
And are you receiving any money?
No, definitely.
It's just full on passion.
Yeah, at this point it's just like I really wanted it, because for me it's important to like go back and enjoy this experience. So I would normally download a private server of some sort every 6 months just to go back and have a good time. But then that, I don't know, kind of got tedious, and the problem I had was you can't raid.
Right.
And so I've designed this to be raidable. So you know what? Let me actually show you how.
I'm just curious. So I'm guessing one of the issues you ran into was that leveling too quickly, you would be outgeared. So it looks like everyone's dropping like 100 things.
Yeah, the drops are massively increased in order to offset that.
Right.
Which gets a little weird in raids, because like those epics that'll drop in like dungeons and raids and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They drop way too often when you're playing on your own, because it's I think it's like designed to tune up raids when you don't have enough people. So it increases the odds, and then everything you play is solo. So I'm just gonna show you how you can jack up your power if you really need to. So if you're getting into like a world boss, you can just increase your strength. So right now I got 1200% increased damage and 1300% increased health.
What does it say? Only to be used in raids?
Yes. So only to be used in raids and dungeons, or I guess for world bosses. Like the idea is you probably shouldn't cheat yourself. You wanna play these experiences the way they ought to be played.
Huh.
But I also you were talking about cheat codes.
Mm-hmm.
And so one thing that I actually included in the game early on is there's a Fire Nova spell I built called Targaryen Wrath, and it just has like infinite damage. I don't know how much damage it does, but it'll kill a 25-man raid boss just instantly. And so that was fun, but I chose not to put that in the like final version people can play, just because that would definitely defeat the purpose.
This 1,000 Needles is such a hardcore classic problem.
Oh my god, climbing all these ladders,
because
and crap?
One fucking wrong move and all of your progress is gone.
Yep.
There have been times where people...
Oh, this is not the city. Oh, shit.
Is that the Alliance area?
No, this is like where you would go to do that really annoying escort quest. The one where you gotta like get them back down all this stuff.
Oh. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to 1,000 Needles in Classic. But it's also a fun challenge.
The one upside here is that no matter how far you fall, if you use the rocket boots to blast yourself to the ground, you won't take any damage.
It just changes physics.
Yeah. I love changing physics. All right, so let's go to Dalaran, because I definitely need to train up, and I can show you some of the other custom stuff that went into this. Because my big problem was like, you're going to play on your own. Most people who play this will not be playing with a lot of other people. So I included in Dalaran some NPCs to like smooth out the experience. So this is Dalaran HQ, where like you'll find everything. So Garrosh over here, he gives you the basics of the server.
What does it say about him being like a bit? What is this? What is his name?
Garrosh bin Hellscream. Bin is in some languages means son of. So that's Garrosh, son of Hellscream.
But you wrote that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I named all these guys.
But it's not actually Thrall?
This is actually Thrall, yes.
Oh, okay.
I just that name I just went with the basic one.
There's a little explainer.
And then so there's a book here that gives you like most of the details if you really wanted to like look into it. You can obviously just play by feel, but this is extra info in case someone wants it.
Wow.
This side is all level 80 stuff. So glyphs for Death Knights and Warriors, and then all the other glyphs. Potions, regular gems, meta gems, enchanting items. This is level 80 starter gear, weapons,
Whoa.
and armor. So that way, if you blast straight to 80, you can still, fill yourself out to start raiding. You already saw this chick at the start. Same with this dude with the heirlooms. This guy will sell you all of the various trade goods.
For a lot of money, though.
But if you were to... Oh, I can't actually buy that. But if you look, they also sell for about 80% of what you buy them for.
Oh.
So if you go out and mine ore, you would sell it for...
Another ore.
Let's check. You could sell it for 500 each. So you could go out and mine a bunch of ore, come back and buy leather with it or whatever you wanted.
That is wild.
This guy sells all the crafted goods. So this way you don't have to have the actual like tailoring and...
Oh, so it's a profession vendor.
Yeah, he's a profession
wicked.
vendor. So is she. I think she just has like some of the more miscellaneous stuff. And then I have custom bonds. So you can buy resource bonds either for emblems or basically max gold. And then if you get enough of those, you can buy special mounts. Why? Oh, okay. It's the only one I can ride. Okay, I was like, why is that one showed up?
And then what are those marks?
So those are my custom resource.
Solomance marks.
Yeah, Solomance resource bonds for only 200,000 gold.
We need you to sell more Solomance resource bonds.
And then this guy will also sell like max level trinkets and stuff like that. Just so you can try to get like an edge while you're trying to gear up.
That is
good old fashioned auctioneer, world bank, or regular banker, mailbox, and guild bank.
Wow.
Yeah, and then there's these guys here were just kind of for fun. So this is Hodir the Great, and then Hodir's son, Hodir the Foolish.
Into the wall?
Yeah, he's not so smart. But basically, their job is to guide you back up the stairs in case you somehow missed the like 30 people standing there.
Yeah, you could walk past that. Yeah, they're kind of dark.
And then this is Ollie.
Oh,
Ollie is the premium vendor. But
premium vendor.
Yeah. So if you find Ollie's store, he will sell you all of the best heroic gear. So this is the first clue. Only Hemet can see the way. So if you know a thing or two about WoW, you might be able to find the store.
Oh, so he's not the guy. He's telling you about the guy.
Exactly.
And Hemet, which as far as I remember is a Northrend character. Isn't he that jack off that's always like, we need to go and we need to like excavate?
Yes, that is Hemet, but he's actually a Burning Crusade character. He first showed up in Nagrand. Yeah, and then Hemingway. Nessingwary's Safari eventually migrated itself to what's it called, Shalazar Basin. So there's a hint for anybody who's looking to get the first one done.
I noticed a character is dead in New WoW. There's a character from I think like the opening area that you find later on in Night Vale, and he's what's it called? What's that place called? Nightingale? Like north of Barrens?
Ashenvale. Ashenvale, yeah.
And
you're thinking of but yeah, go on.
And you find him dead in a battlefield. And then you have to like resurrect him temporarily so he can take revenge on the people who murdered him. And I was like, that's pretty wicked. Like just because no one really cares, but if you were just in the starting area, you'll be like, oh, I've talked to that guy.
Yeah, I recognize that dude.
He's fucking dead.
Oh,
and his family.
What a bummer.
Something I never did before is the thing you're doing right now. There, the QE. I've never I do it now, but back when we played WoW, I never keybound anything but the buttons, the numbers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and now I've got Q, E, and F, which are all great.
Because I think Q and E used to be strafe.
It's strafe.
Yeah.
But it's not really a necessary thing if you're holding the right...
No.
Click.
No, not hugely. And then where's my lightning shield?
That's actually the reason why I don't play classic shamans, because you're constantly your fucking your totems, your item enchants, whatever those are called.
Oh, your
Like your weapon things.
Yeah, your frost tongue weapon and whatever.
And your shield. You're just constantly reapplying them. It's really annoying.
It is a bummer, and like I get that's part of what made them so great back in the day. I think that's like
it was a balancing feature.
Kind of. It's like, yeah, you have all this power, but you got to manage it. I think that was kind of the idea.
Maybe it's just because I didn't properly keybind it or something. Because when I'm playing my warrior and Battle Shout is a 2-minute duration.
Oh wow!
And it takes rage, so you have to manage your. Oh, that's what I wanted to say about classic warriors. Victory Rush encourages the warrior to play the way that the warrior does in the lore. Like a warrior is charging through and fighting people maybe one at a time, but in sequence. A warrior
Chaining
is
them.
not sitting still and waiting for his health to come back. Victory Rush basically doubles your ability to knock down a target. So if you're able to fight the next one within 20 seconds, you'll do it faster. It's so cool. Whereas like mages are encouraged to play like a mage because they get shat on because they have no armor. So like in New WoW, you don't play any of the characters like the characters because it doesn't really matter. Like you can just face tank things as a range character. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and I see that as being a bummer because there was very much a unique feel to each of the various characters in this.
And because there were fewer classes and fewer races, each one matters more in Classic.
Yes. Oh, big time. Well, and it feels like there was a I don't know, melding or merging. But they kind of just wanted every character to have similar feelings, similar availabilities, and it's like that defeats the purpose.
I finally got the word for it.
Okay.
And I've forgotten it.
Well, what good are you?
Oh, we'll see you guys next time. It's the word when you like meld things together.
Amalgamate?
No. It's racking my burn. My brain isn't working very well right now. I had lots of sugar last night, which I'm discovering is basically alcohol. Like as far as its effect goes, like I basically have sugar hangovers now.
Well, that's why it's a nightmare when you get drunk off something really sugary.
Right.
Because your brain is just double screwed.
Yeah, and your brain's not very smart.
No.
It's very much operating off of the moment that you're in. It's not really that focused on like, is that smart? Is that good for the future?
Well, there's that whole thing about your brain getting smart and your head getting dumb, right? So
He just died.
well, that was a hard transition.
He did.
But I didn't know that.
Lead singer, yeah.
That's really tough. That's,
it is.
Yeah, that's super
Especially
sad.
because he was one of our anti-COVID guys.
Was he?
In the early days, man. He was one of those fuck COVID.
Well, just for the record, I think everybody's anti-COVID.
No. Dude, the hysteria is back. There's people wearing masks again. Like, if we don't stand our ground here, brothers.
Prate Paruja.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. That's actually a perfect... Yeah, wow, Assassin's Creed had it right. The whole wokeism thing. Nothing is true, everything is permitted. Like there's no truth anymore. It's just whatever you feel like. There's no like you don't have a truth. There's the truth.
Yeah, that's a disturbing
trend.
Truth,
right?
Yeah.
Because my truth can be that I'm not an asshole. I just don't treat people the way they want to be treated. But that's your truth. My truth is that I treat you the way that I think you should be. So I'm not an asshole. I'm an upstanding young man, and that's the way I identify.
When you've also got to remember that whenever somebody starts to twist words, you should be concerned.
Yeah.
Right? That was something the Nazis loved to do, was twist words and definitions, right?
I'm so glad making a YouTube video about World of Warcraft and we're talking
already about, on Nazis.
Yeah. Not even a full hour. I've been on the job hunt and I avoid companies that refer to their jobs as things that they're not. Like sandwich artist. Like,
yes.
No. You stand behind the counter and you make Subway sandwiches. you're not an artist. If you were an artist, you would have any sort of creativity.
Yeah, like customer service manager instead of line shift, shift manager, right?
Yeah, and then it's like night ranger. Does that sound like a good job to you?
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's night watch security.
Oh,
night ranger.
Well, I heard this one lady. She was like, "And I'm a night auditor."
Okay.
And I was like, "Okay, so that must mean like." You go in at night to like audit what's going on at night. And it's like, no, actually, I just review the books from the day before. Why does it have to be done at night? Like, why can't that wait another 12 hours?
Okay.
I don't know. But I just wish there was, there is a reason to say like the truth about my experience. Yeah, okay, I want to know the truth about your experience, but that's not your truth. We don't get to have our own takes on truth.
Yeah, well, we do, but we shouldn't.
Yeah, well, and that's why it's not truth. It can be whatever you want it to be, it's just not truth. There is I didn't realize how many mineral deposits there was going to be, because this server has been running with no people to mine them for weeks.
But the nodes shouldn't, like, there's only, it doesn't increase the number of nodes, though.
It doesn't increase the number of nodes, but I don't believe there's a limit on the number of deposits. So this is every single node has something in it. Like, there's no way you could... Okay, I don't have mining, but hang on. What was that one? 59996? Yeah, perfect. So this should show... Look at that! Look how many freaking deposits that is! There's no way that should happen. Oh, that's right. This one also makes me fly. Okay, that's...
I wasn't sure what just happened as he leaned way back, and I was like, what the fuck just happened to that guy?
Yeah, gravity turned off. Don't worry about it.
That's hilarious.
This is actually the Druid's flight form, but with 100% movement speed instead of like 150 or 200.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
I'm a bird right now.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty bird,
I
too.
can tell, yeah. You look like a bird, too.
Yeah,
I actually had to get used to the hexadecimal symbols for New Vegas items when I was doing... Okay. That looks like a jackhammer.
It doesn't actually... Like, in the desert, you can't even see it. It looks like my screen is just sweeping across the landscape.
When I was making the intro for my New Vegas video, I had to spawn things in, and you can only do that with hexadecimal numbers. So I got really used to all of the numbers like that.
I got really used to that with the website, because colors you could define them other ways, but it's the easiest to do it in hexadecimal.
God, I forgot about the shimmering flats. This is separate from, what is it? Is it Tanaris?
It is. So this is in Thousand Needles, and it's over the hill from Tanaris.
Right.
So it's actually one of the places I find is the most awkward, because you're kind of required to go backwards a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, you have to go all the way to the end to where the guys give you the quests, and then you have to backtrack into the rest of the place.
We're just going to break for a minute. Okay, we're back. Fucking ball and chains, am I right?
Oh, man.
My God. It's
I don't know what to tell you,
I don't have a girlfriend because she's really awesome and supports me. I have a girlfriend so I can complain about her.
That's why you got her?
Yeah.
Because it's just more fun that way?
She belongs to me.
Yep.
We've been actually hoping for a person in... I've been hoping for, a social justice warrior to try to, upstage me in public. Say, oh, why aren't you helping her? You should hold the door or something. And I'm going to respond with, she's my fucking property, and I'll do with her what I want. And then I've already talked to her ahead of time, and she's going to go with it. She's going to be like, whatever boss man tells me.
Oh, my God.
Actually, even better if she calls me daddy.
Whatever
daddy tells me. Because I would love to accidentally end up in a viral video.
Yeah, you want to have a Karen altercation?
Yeah, just this random video, no one knows who I am, and then years later when I'm on some podcast, I'm like, you actually had that video on your podcast.
Yeah, you played that video
back in the day, and they're like, oh my God, she's my property guy. Yeah, and then in the middle of it, I'm gonna say hey mommies, which is a reference to your mom's house,
right?
And then I'll probably go hey, it's Mitch Show on YouTube.
Nice. Well, you're gonna go viral.
Check out Bros Play.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I'm going to do one of those my my apology videos where I breathe in heavily before not apologizing.
At all.
And I'll say, like, I'm sorry you're such a whore. Sorry your bitch ass face had to get in my way. I'd like to thank all of God's children.
This is really your fault, lady.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you want to get really cheeky, you can kind of do one of these if you're a caster.
That's pretty cheeky.
But it also doesn't really compare because, well, I guess shamans are casters. Most casters don't have heals. And, like, if you have heals, you have a massive advantage in this type of server.
That is my draw. That was my original draw to the shaman, was that I could heal and cast or choose to be melee. They don't tank, though.
Yeah, that's why I really do like druids. Just the ability to do everything. I'm not a huge fan of the fact that they are, like, really weak early on. Like, druids come into their own, but they're late bloomers.
Well, yeah, because they don't have a single transform into level 10.
Exactly.
And then you have to do a fucking quest. It's actually like a 3-parter.
And I actually think one of the biggest problems with this game is that only certain classes have those quests. I think they should have just made that an across-the-board thing, where every class has certain abilities they cannot access without going to the trainer.
Yeah.
Like, let's say rogues, they couldn't get, like, backstab or something important to them. And then
they couldn't go invisible.
Well, because warriors, did you know, back in this era, they actually had to do a quest in order to get their defensive stance?
What?
Yeah. So it seems out of place because it's like warriors, shamans, druids, and everyone else just gets their shit for free. Right? So I do think there would have been a better way to do that, but it's not like I'm designing the game or anything.
I'm slightly distracted because I'm looking for the word that I was looking for the other day that is so good for describing what's wrong.
Oh, well, you do that, and while I
WoW?
briefly plug to everybody here. So
Yeah.
if you're interested in playing on Solomance, go to supernotcool.ca, and on the Warcraft page, you will find everything you need to know to get you started. If you are playing at this early stage of the game, which is like late 2023, I'm looking for any and all feedback. Just shoot it to my email, which is also on the Warcraft page, because I want to know, like, where is the balance missing? I know it's not balanced at all. It's not supposed to be balanced, but I want to know, like, are certain raids just impossible? Are the exchange rates for goods just impractical? You know, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Looking for beta testers anywhere and everywhere.
So I found the word.
Okay.
Homogeneous.
Oh, okay.
Consistent.
Homogenize, yeah.
Yeah, they've homogenized the experience. So, for example, if you spawn in as a warrior undead, you'll have a shield and a sword. But if you spawn in as a warrior as an orc, you'll have a 2-handed axe. So it's like differences like that, where they do that because their specialization is different, right? Orcs have like 5% more efficiency with axes.
Yes.
So it's like little weird things like that where over time they've made everything samey, and it's like, well, it's basically little kids. It's actually a perfect example of the analogy I've been using for years about how gamers are like children and developers are like guardians of those children. The person who gives the kids ice cream for breakfast is going to be the one the kids want to be taken care of, but it's not what they need. And it's a bad long-term thing. It feels good because it's short-term. So gamers say, I like SMGs. I want the SMG to fire far away. And it's like, well, that's what a sniper rifle is for.
But it defeats the purpose, yeah.
Right? So then Call of Duty's like, well, fuck it. You can use any weapon at any range for any circumstance. And then they'll actually advertise it like that. Play your way. But that means there's no way to play other than whatever the fuck you want. Do whatever you want. Prey is a great example. Although they didn't have the confidence, they actually stop you to say, hey, just in case you were wondering, you can play your way. But you can miss they intend for you to pick up a shotgun at a certain point, but you can miss it and just find a different one at a different spot. And it's so cool because when you find it early, you feel good about it. You're like, I'm ahead of the game. And then later on, you'll find like three more, and you're like, oh, if I missed those ones, I would have found it here. But I would have had a harder time getting here to find that second or third one, which is easier to find. That's fucking wicked cool.
Well, that's balance.
The problem is, though, the homogeneous version of that. So in Prey, this shotgun you can get by transforming into a small object and rolling through a window. You can find it by hacking into a door. You can find it by lifting a heavy object to get inside. Or you can find it by climbing up over into the vents and falling down into it. 4 different ways for one objective. In Wolfenstein 2, remember the part where I talked about how you can only choose between one of 3 upgrades? The long legs, the thing that makes you constrict, and the thing that makes you like blow people apart when you run into them.
Right, yeah.
Except
the ramshackle.
Yeah, the ramshackle. But the traversal areas that require those things are in the same spot. So like sliding through a small object, being tall and climbing up, or bashing through a wall, they're right fucking in the same spot. So it doesn't matter which one you chose.
It's just 3 different colors of an ending.
It's yeah, exactly. It's the 3 different color endings.
That's such a bummer because you put so much effort into making these 3 different things, which granted have some combat efficiencies, but
you're removing someone's ability to choose from the options. Yeah.
Well, the only thing that was worse than that was, what was the game where they didn't tell you that by picking which of your comrades would die?
It's the same game.
What the fuck is that about?
Yeah, you get the something Vika and the I forget what they're called.
Yeah.
Like one of them explodes people and the other one is fire or something. Oh, one of them creates these really cool beams and the other one creates these little globs that you can stick on people and then blow them up. Yeah, and it doesn't tell you that by choosing which guy dies that you'll get a specific weapon. And then you spend the whole game with just one of those weapons. It's very strange.
That too, not giving you an opportunity to get the other one later on. It's such a bummer. Like, well, we want people to replay it. Yeah, but they'll replay it anyways.
And I did.
Yeah.
Not to get a better angle. I just wanted to play it again.
The best games we used to play multiple times.
Oh my god, I played Road Trooper 3 times in the week that I rented it.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. I mean, people listening, who didn't rent games are probably thinking like, okay, fine. But Road Trooper's not a short game.
Like it's like 8 hours.
Yeah, exactly. So you're doing that, like you're really hustling if you're getting through all of that.
Well, we also, I fucking love the animation on this.
Yeah, on the wolf.
It's ridiculous.
I didn't even know.
It reminds me of like very fast piano. It's like.
Look at his feet.
That's funny. Can't even handle the.
Oh no!
Whee!
Oh no! Yeah, you will. That is entirely possible. I forgot. Let's give a demonstration.
When I get the laser pointer out, my cat runs that fast.
So if you're not, wow,
oh my God.
This was not meant to be viewed up close.
No,
look at that. That looks like a couch, like the
beautiful.
texture you'd see on an old like 1960s couch.
It makes me feel like I'm in like a liminal state.
Yeah. Wow. It's so repetitive. Okay.
Go back to that. I hopefully it shows up on the capture, but just make it still and then slightly move the camera, and notice how when you move it slightly, the aliasing.
Oh, I'm seeing that
causes a weird flicker,
like the color of the whole thing,
and it's like really really fast,
like a shimmer off glass in the sun. Yeah,
it's because the different colors are moving between pixels.
Oh,
and it's creating that effect, kind of like when you
slightly.
look through a screen door at things really slowly, and it has this weird like shimmery effect. It's kind of what's happening. It's like
because look at that.
The
that looks
pixels
like
are moving. Shit. Yeah,
when you see it this close.
Yeah, I mean a lot of this game looks like shit, but but that's like the whole thing. Like the new WoW looks great and feels great, but doesn't give you the feeling.
Because if you're not careful, like if you're just chilling, like let's say I'm not in.
I mean, those textures are pretty good.
Because if you're not careful and you fall off something like this, like see how much air you can get.
Yeah.
And even just
sheepers. The ground texture is pretty good though, I gotta say.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with what they were able to do at this time when you consider how big the world is, right? Because this is only one of 3 worlds at this era of the game.
Right.
Right, and still it's damn good.
Although this is definitely like the classics preset is 3 out of 10 on the graphic scale for what they can do now.
Right.
So you can play classic now on level 10 graphics. It doesn't quite look as good as the newest stuff, but in comparison to 3 on the scale, like on the scaling of the graphics, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and you know what? I have to look into this. I'm pretty sure I borrowed an auctioneer from Kazakhstan to be one that's in. Yeah, so I don't know if that auction house will connect to the other ones. I'll have to look into that. There was just something else I think I have to look into too. That's the only problem with building something like this is it's just like it goes on and on and on. All of the various things that may need to be accounted for.
Oh, just like life.
Just like life. That's exactly it. Oh, do you see that?
No.
The one I just got rid of said something about Hemet Nessingwary.
Nice.
So yeah, I guess he was in the original. I guess he just also had a place in Northrend when the time came.
Yeah. 41. You could have a mount in Classic WoW.
Yeah, I could have my first one. That's so true. I mean, I'm going to go back and get my full one now. Even though, let's be honest, mounts are not that important. You will also find, if you were to play this and then go back and play regular, you would feel very slow. Because I leave 100% on all the time. Like, this is 100% increased. So when you go back to regular, you feel like you're walking through molasses all the time. It's actually slightly frustrating.
That's actually one of the things I like about Classic. Because when I was playing New WoW, I was flying through things because I had a mount at level 10. And then because they've homogenized every single part of the experience, you can go anywhere you want all the time. So as soon as you're level 10, you can just go to Northrend. And so now you're playing Northrend, but with like 5 abilities. It's a very weird experience.
Yeah, that part I find it very off-putting.
I actually find that what you're doing here is actually better than New WoW because at least you're acknowledging that it is not correct. Oh, I was hoping that top level wolves look cool.
Oh, they're badass.
Because the first ones are a little dumpy.
Oh man, I didn't even realize his eyes were purple.
Wow.
Look at that. That is badass. I love it.
Just makes me want to play Classic now.
And that's what this was all in the search of, is that I loved playing private servers, but private servers always have pitiful numbers. And so the idea with this private server is that you can do whatever you want. Because let's see, I actually forget what the maximum percentage is. But if you really crank this thing up. So I am going to make some modifications to make this a little faster, a little easier. But yeah, so 5,000% increased. That kind of means that you're a whole raid, right? So
right.
With the max level gear, I've definitely been able to play Ice Crown Citadel on 10-man heroic, and it's definitely very doable. I just have to dial in those numbers a little bit more in terms of like how much percentage you really need.
That's another thing though. Ghost Wolf matters in Classic because it's you get it at level 20 and it's like a 30% increase to your movement speed, and you cast it. And what's the movement speed on that?
40% in this one, but I think you're right.
It might be
30.
40 in
No,
Classic.
I think it's 30. I think they jacked it up. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have a movement speed increase that most classes don't have until 40, and that's
same with Cheetah.
Provided you have enough money. Yeah. Also, I don't like playing new druids because the trolls don't get cheetah form; they get fucking stag form. It's
deer?
Dumpy ass deer.
That's really shitty.
Cheetahs are so cool. Cheetahs have fur like a horse brush. You know what I'm talking about? Like the really thick, that fur, like the bristles just like barely move.
Yeah, okay.
That's the fur texture of a cheetah.
A cheetah, really?
Yeah,
I wouldn't have known that.
Thin, hard fur. They're super smart too. It sounds like pretty obvious, but they don't run as fast as they have to. They don't just do max speed just 'cause.
They only run as fast as they have to.
Right. They run just as fast. They run 5% faster than the thing that they're chasing.
And that makes sense. I mean, why would you spend any more energy than you really need to?
Well, some animals do.
Really?
Yeah, like pandas. Fucking lazy cunts.
Pandas run?
No. They use 100% of the energy they don't have. They suck. They're like the only animal that we're actively keeping alive instead of destroying.
Yeah, that is a weird one.
They don't even plow. We have to give them like
They don't even plow.
We have to give them sexy fucking what are they called? Stuffed animals. We have to like get them in the mood.
Yeah, I find that weird because, well, is it really preservation? If we're going, I mean, I guess it is. But if we're going out of our way to keep an animal alive that ought not to be alive otherwise,
it's an interesting argument because it's always made from this like short-sighted time traveler theory. Like you can just change one thing and nothing else changes. I hate it when people say that so and so wouldn't make it in the wild. Like we're not in the wild, and you're able to say that on a fucking phone made by slaves. Like you're forgetting like you're not in the wild, and like you can also make that argument, but you could also say that 1,000 years ago we were under a sheet of ice, and you wouldn't be alive if it was 1,000 years ago. But it's not 1,000 years ago, is it?
Well, one of the best arguments that I often hear is, it really comes down to whether this animal is necessary or not. So, like, we always talk about wanting to preserve all the animals, but the way I kind of look at it is the animal an important ecological necessity, right? Like, if you get rid of all the bees, nothing will pollinate anything, and then we're fucked, right?
In other words, what do you even do?
What do you even do, bro? That's what it's all about.
God, I love how even in Classic Wrath, the 3 levels above you was considered difficult.
Yeah. Oh, and they will mess you up. Like that's one thing that I really think is cool about the old ones is that you have to understand your limitations, because these 2 guys will be so much harder than a level 41 that you couldn't even possibly think of taking on 2 unless you have cheat codes.
So I want to say that although I really don't like how New WoW has they've used a scaling system, so quests and enemies scale to your level. That's not a terrible thing because WoW has so much content that getting through all of it is a serious barrier, even for a returning player. Like, you're telling me I'm going to go through 7 expansions? Like, that's just nuts. That would take forever.
That's where I understand the concern.
That's cool. The problem is it doesn't modify it the way that I want it to. And I get new players. That's totally cool. And the way that they introduce new players now, there's a new, I don't even know if it's new. There's basically a tutorial called Exile Island or something like that. And it's a separate starting area that gets you familiar with your character, puts you through one dungeon, and then gives you the option of playing through that expansion from there. Or you can just go and do whatever you want. But what it should be, or what I would like it to be, is kind of like the scaling system that Skyrim uses, where it scales enemies to you so you can go anywhere you want, but you can choose a higher difficulty so the scaling is harsher. As in, the higher level you are, the bigger the gap between you and your enemies. If New WoW did that, if at level 10 enemies were 20% bigger than you, but at level 60 they were 60% higher level than you, then it would be a fun experience, because it would mean that leveling actually has a feeling. Moving up actually makes the game harder.
Those are the actual consequences to it. Yeah, that is interesting.
And I'm not going to put the time in to find out how hard it gets, because people on the forums are like, yeah, like leveling isn't a challenge. It's a tutorial, but it's a fucking long tutorial.
Yeah, well, I mean, it used to take probably 60 to 80 hours in the Lich King era, and that was simplified. That was less than it was in Classic. So I'm sure it was like 100 hours per character, right?
In Classic, I don't know.
Now, there's also quick Jeeves. So you got your own little Jeeves, just because then that way you don't have to always go back when you need repairs and other crap like that. Oops. I didn't know I could sell those. Yeah, don't sell those. Oh, that's the other thing I got to remember to write it down. I reduced the threat ranges. So the aggro radius is just a little smaller. So like that caught him. Actually, I was not expecting it to, but it is a little smaller. So it makes it easier to just kind of navigate through things like, the raptors, going to get the raptor eggs in the barrens and shit like that. But since you brought it up,
I like how that quest has 2 parts.
Because you got to go.
It's defeating raptors, which you can defeat anywhere, not just the ones near the nests, and then you have to go and do the 3 different nests.
Yeah. And now now that you mention it, let's go and
all the way up here.
Let's go and do a random classic dungeon.
Oh. And a satchel. You're giving them sacks.
This guy's an elite, so I gotta... Oh, that's not enough.
And so you can dial this in so that the dungeon's actually challenging on your own.
Yeah. You can make it exactly as much difficulty as you want.
I love that.
And so I want to come up with a system because, well, oh, Jesus. Let's turn that shit off. Oh, that's right. I'm not in a group, so I can't. There's some bugs to be worked out, all right?
I called that a feature.
Because the other aspect that I want to work on is just I don't want people to have all of these two right off the bat. I want there to be a quest you have to do, and then you'd have to defeat a certain dungeon using like the basic ones before you got higher level ones. So I want to flesh that out.
You would get stones for certain ranges. So
Exactly.
You get like the 1 to 10 stone, and then the 10 to 20, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And I also somebody was. I was telling him I'm still working on stuff, and he goes, "Oh, you gonna make some dailies?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, fucking dailies! Like that's the whole point of the game." So I need to put some thought into making some actual dailies. I'm gonna stop looting corpses because that's just really fucking annoying. I think you can convert to.
Said no classic player ever. There's
Yeah.
just too much things to.
There's too many loot
just
options.
too many items for me to pick up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very slow item progression in classic.
And this is, I mean, not super practical for leveling. The problem is that you get so much experience from an elite that you're usually out of the range of that character. You're beyond the range of the dungeon you're in after like killing the mobs in the start. So there's not a great way to level, but when you get a max level, it's really helpful to be able to do Dungeon Finder because you get frost emblems daily.
Huh.
Right? So because you have your...
Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, I'm an abandoner now. Because you do your specific dungeons, but if you do your daily dungeon, you get frost emblems that you otherwise wouldn't be able to get without doing raids. So I wanted to make sure that was available. And even though you can move 1,000,000 miles an hour, not everyone knows where all the raids are, nor do they know what all the raids are. So I thought it'd be nice to just have Dungeon Finder in there. I also recommend Atlas Loot, because then you can go on Atlas Loot and be like, okay, what items do I actually need? Like, let me go and look. Okay, let's see. Let's go to Utgard Keep. Perfect. So Utgard Keep, yeah, I definitely need to get this belt. So then you can go play it in the Dungeon Finder. And in case anyone's wondering, this is the weirdest thing with Atlas Loot. Nothing shows up, but if you right-click all of them, they load. So then you can see them. I don't know. It's the strangest thing. It's always been like that. All right, where's the question mark? Because for some reason it's a question mark and not an exclamation point when you hand in a quest. Somebody just brought it to my attention how fucking weird that is.
Yeah. But it's brilliant using symbols. It's become synonymous with questing.
Absolutely. In almost any game that you play, there's a one thing for a quest that's to start and one thing that's for a quest to end.
Yeah. Although I haven't played a lot of them, so I can't remember if they use question marks, but they probably do because it's not like you can't copyright that.
No.
You can try.
And it also becomes sort of like an industry standard practice, right? It's been done enough times. It's the same way when we used to play a lot of games on the PlayStation 2, and they all had like the same kind of, oh yeah, you press this to do that. And then a game breaks that mold. Like, you remember playing fucking 2 Human? Yeah, we're flying, buddy. We are flying.
I do remember 2 Human 2.
And
or 1.
It was strange because they chose such a non-compliant method.
Yeah.
They chose such a bizarre approach for how to do all of the layouts, and I actually found it jarring. And I also find it fucking jarring how to get up to this stupid place.
Yeah, but it also... there's times where a bad... a less intuitive would be a better way to say it. Control system is actually better for the experience. My example would be Resident Evil 4 has tank controls, not because they didn't know how to control characters back then. They wanted you to make decisions differently than if you had full control. So when they remade it in 2023, they gave you classic or no modern controller setup where the right stick moves the camera and the left stick moves the character. So it changes how you play the game. So then they modified the game to match the new control system, and now it's a different game with the same name. It's a very strange decision, and everybody said it was a good example of a remake, of a reimagining, and I'm like, have you played the old one in a while? Because it's so much better. It's way more fun. In new Resident Evil 4, you just shoot enemies until they fall over, and then they die with a random number of hits to the head, which is,
a random number?
Yeah.
That's kind of strange.
It's 2, sometimes it's 4. And in the old one, you shoot them in the leg, they fall over, and then you can come up to them and do that crazy kick.
And they did away with that?
Yeah, because you can't kick anymore in the new one. You use a knife, which has a durability. So every time you use the knife, it slowly gets worn away until you have no knife.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there's a spot that I was in the old one where too many enemies come at you at once. And so they've put you in a spot where if you're clever about it, you shoot the enemies while they're jumping from one thing to another. And when you shoot them in the leg while they're trying to jump, they fall in the river and get washed away. So they give you too many enemies to compensate, but they didn't tell you that that's what you're supposed to do. There's no annoying character being like, shoot him in the leg, Leon! But you do it because you've been learning how to manage zombies for a couple hours at that point. So at that spot, you get overwhelmed by enemies and start running away from them, and then just turn around and instinctively shoot them while they're jumping, and then they fall in the river, and you're like, oh, that's why there's fucking 5 times as many enemies here, because they wanted me to cheese it. They designed it to cheese it. How fucking wacky is that?
Well, I don't see why not, because then there's an actual benefit to going back and playing it again. You know what to do in that section,
and you're
right?
better, and you can play a harder difficulty, yeah.
Yeah, difficulties.
They also
you remember that.
They took the fucking skirt off of Ashley in the new one. In the old one, she had a skirt, and she was always conscious of you being under her. So if you looked up at her, she'd be like, Leon, like the game model would go like, what are you doing?
I do remember.
And in the new one, they just dressed her appropriately, and now she doesn't do that. There's a really funny thing that people do where they think that if it's in a thing, that you must agree with it. Not that you put it in there to show how fucked up it is. Like the scene at the beginning of Kill Bill, where this guy has been running a rape racket in the hospital, where he just lets dudes pay him to just like do creepy shit with people who are in comas, right? There are some people who would look at that and be like, that's very inappropriate. I don't like that. It's like, yeah, neither does Tarantino.
That's the whole point.
Which is why...
Did you not see what happened to him?
Which is why she kills him with a fucking door. Like, it's a cathartic response to a fucked up environment. Kind of like how the excessive use of the N-word in Django Unchained and all of the horrible... examples of slavery and you know hanging him upside down naked and telling him they're gonna throw him in the fucking hole is to create the catharsis from when he starts fucking blasting vatos.
Yep, that's exactly what
or crackers, I guess they'd be called.
And it's funny. It's obviously deliberate.
One of the funniest ones though is you can't play a character that you're not also in real life. Like you're fucking R-worded. You're so fucking retarded. It's acting. There was a whole joke that Patrick Stewart used to do. Like, I bet you thought I was that... What was it? A dog? Or something? I bet you thought I was something else. Acting. You remember that?
No.
Yeah.
No, Patrick Stewart used to do that joke?
Yeah. Well, he did it once, I think.
And then it just became a meme forever. A meme, yeah. Okay, this is ringing a bell. I just don't...
I bet you thought I was this thing.
Acting. Okay, yeah.
Right? It's he's not a paraplegic. He also can't fucking read minds. Like, Nightcrawler isn't really blue, and he can't teleport. But the guy who played him wasn't fucking lambasted for not being able to teleport. However, if his character was gay, it'd be a problem. It's a new cult. It's a cult of exclusive inclusivity.
The craziest one in my mind was when people basically told them to take the dwarves out of Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. And then there was a whole bunch of people who, whatever, call them midgets, call them dwarves, whatever you think is the most appropriate way to refer to them. I don't like calling them little people because there are little people that aren't little people, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways.
Yeah. Not to be confusing.
And they were all like, what the fuck are you doing? These are jobs.
Yeah.
These are jobs that don't come around all that often.
We don't have a lot of those.
Like, other than Peter Dinklage, they don't write small characters into things for them, right? So they're like, this is 7 jobs you just eliminated because of your self-righteous bullshit.
And have you heard the smugness of the woman who plays Snow White?
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit.
The best is how she keeps saying, we did this and we did that.
like
Bitch, I don't think I've ever seen you have a writer's credit.
You were signed on to do the film. Like, don't pretend that it was like your project.
Yeah, they decided, and I went along.
So Brie Larson was very smug during the beginning of the MCU, which apparently is their word, not a condescending expression that the internet came up with.
MCU?
Yeah.
That was almost like that her for she.
Her for she.
Did you see that stupid shit?
I love cookies and cream Hershey's, and I actively grab the one that doesn't have that bullshit on it.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin O'Leary said it really well after the Bud Light thing. He said, you're a company. Don't take a stance on a divided topic. You're immediately going to alienate the other side of it.
Bud Light.
Right. Why do it at all? Unless you're really going to bow down to people saying that not talking about it is the same thing as doing it.
Oh, God.
Which is true for,
What the heck?
You're not hitting slide. You're hitting the dot.
Yeah, but it is supposed to be that. Oh, that's right. So you can learn things, but you have to select yourself. So it's trying to teach that NPC a spell, which doesn't work so well. So where is it? There we go. Targaryen Wrath.
Okay.
I just figured we'd go have a little bit of fun. Oops. Oh, I don't have a flight form yet, though. I can't.
You can swim.
You can't learn one at 60 either.
Nope.
Okay. Well, then we're gonna. You know what?
You can do what classic Superman used to do and just leap.
Or
he never flew.
I could use.
I don't know where that came from. The flying part.
Him being able to fly,
maybe,
really?
Or the animated show, I guess.
Really, he couldn't fly in the originals. He just jumped over tall buildings.
Leap tall buildings in a single bound. That was his
actually
old thing.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah, he used to jump, and then oh no, he definitely flew at the Christopher Reeve spot because people like to make the joke about how if he caught Lois as she was falling, if he was moving too quickly, he would just cut her in half
into 3 equally proportioned pieces.
I don't know why.
Because his arms would be held out, right?
It wouldn't be equal, but
all right. So this guy's got what, 65,000? That's actually not that much, but and I missed him. I'm not high enough level. I can't hit him. Oh no! Oh no! He's dodging. He's dodging.
How can I have that big dodge you?
Well, especially a fire nova at his feet. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess if I can't hit him, then that's not going to work out so well. All right. Well,
this is wild.
That's kind of a bummer.
I love this.
I do. That's probably the best thing I did was the rocket boots because it's I didn't know there was anything up here. Cool skulls.
Peak skulls.
Yeah. This rocket pack, it's the rocket boots from the loot ship. You know that pack that you get that allows you to jump from ship to ship?
Oh.
It's the same mechanic, but infinite range and no cost.
The loot ship.
Yeah, the loot ship.
Where is that from?
It's Ice Crown Citadel.
Oh.
Yeah.
Harbinger of horror.
Yeah, I can't hit him either.
Ho.
That Hobinger over there.
Well, no, because H-O-H, ho.
Oh.
Yeah, that was what I was going.
I gotcha.
I was hoping you were picking up.
No,
on it,
no, I'm not good at spelling.
You're not a yes and. You're more of a maybe and.
Yeah, I'm good
you
with
can
that.
Jump. Oh, it just teleports you because it can't figure out what to do.
No, I have both actually. Sorry, I guess I didn't specify that. In order to travel faster, it's more of a dev item, but This one's the same thing, but it's just instant.
Oh, okay. I thought the game was like, whoa there.
Yeah, it was like, you know what? How about piss off? You actually have to turn your range find up to as high as you can, because otherwise it won't locate the circle at certain distances.
Oh my god, I had no idea that the Arthas pad was like in the game.
Real thing, yeah, absolutely.
I thought it was just an instance area. That's fucking wicked, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it is an instance. Otherwise, there'd just be Alliance and Horde just camped out here, just ruining people's Lich King runs.
Its dimensions are also wrong.
Oh, okay.
So the ring of snow and ice around the outside is much, much wider when you play the actual version of it. But it's the loot ship I also had to alter, because loot ship is designed around these cannons that you have to like shoot at the enemy ship. Problem is you're supposed to have 10 people, so people are supposed to be in the cannons shooting while other people are doing things. So I had to massively jack up the cannons in order to make it work. And that's the kind of thing I want people's input on. How can we make certain things work that don't work with 2 people? So this spell is called Cleanse Spirit, and it absolutely removes everything from you. So if you're in instances where the boss does something that you need 2 tanks for, you can use that as your reset. So it will remove the stacks of the like infinitely stacking damage. It will get rid of like linking or bonding spells that cause like you and the boss to have the same damage. So I've been finding ways to get around it, because ultimately it's not meant to be done solo, but still need input. I need your support. So go to supernotcool.ca, download it right now. Download it right now.
Bar now.
Takes like an hour or 2 to get the torrent. Takes like 30 seconds to modify.
So what was that? Hour and 15 minutes?
Yeah.
To 60?
Hour 15 to 60, and it only goes up from there, because the experience you get in these quests, like for both the expansion, the experience is jacked up.
Yeah.
Like you end up getting more from quests and less from quest givers, which I find is kind of interesting. Ooh, here's one that could be fun, because these might be the right level. Papow! Damn it! What level are they? It doesn't even say.
Is such a... Wow.
Oops. And
first death.
And you move normal when you're dead. So that's part of the balancing act. Be careful climbing mountains, because if you fall to your death up in the mountains, you have to resurrect at the graveyard, right?
Yeah, that's definitely a work. Maybe there can be an ability that just teleports you to your body or something.
No.
Oh, no.
No, that's the cost.
That's the cost.
It's the cost of doing business.
Everything
shoot.
Else, you're Superman on every other category.
Don't forget to put your experience back on when you die.
Wow.
One thing I normally do is like I would go in and I would just make a macro that says cast this a bunch of times.
I've never used a macro in my life.
No?
No. I guess I could...
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
Even back in the day?
Probably.
Wow. Oh, God, I use macros all the time. And this is actually the only flight path that's not instant, because it's part of a quest.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, because you have to see stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So...
What, like, for a warrior, let's say, what useful macros would I use?
So one, like, sometimes there is stuff you can actually do for combat, but I found a lot of macros that I ended up using was like cast this if I can fly, and cast this if I'm in a non-fly zone. Oh. To me, that's one of the easiest ways to do it. And then so this should now work. Yeah, I don't know. There's something wrong with the wisdom item. I won't let you stack it a bunch of times. But that was the one I used to always use, was like, if you can fly, do this. If you can't fly, do that. Another one that would sometimes be if you wanted a spell where it was like cast this, and then as soon as it's done, cast that. You can put that in as a macro. Other than that, it was a lot of like, so my character would yell dance time, and then like make a keg. Like you'd have like kegs. Yeah. So it would be like he would yell something, he would place the keg, and then he'd start dancing. So just simple shit like that. I didn't use it as much for combat as I'm sure many people have.
Yeah.
Also, don't accept too many quests when you're leveling like this, because it ends up being very tedious.
Why do you have to individually abandon quests? It's so annoying.
It is, and I also, like, why can't I hit enter?
Yeah.
Right? That would be way better. Just just cut it down. That's actually part of the reason I put quick Jeeves in, is that you're picking up so many goddamn greens, you can't delete them. Like, you have to actually hit, are you sure you want to delete? You can't just drop them the way you would other things. So, just built him in to make that easier. Where's the quest guy? I thought there was a quest guy in here. Quest guy? Quest guy! Quest guy! Oh, I just... sorry.
Oh, there's a Pink Floyd reference in the inn.
In the inn?
Yeah. And check out the innkeeper. His name. Check out his name.
Oh. Floyd Pincus. That's awesome. And is there a dark side of the moon on that? No, not quite.
Yeah, he might be holding a book. Like there might be a significance to those things, but
I do have one character that's a reference in this. Have you ever seen R.I.P.D.?
Yes.
Yeah. So the main character's name is Roy,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because his actual name is Roy Cephas.
Roy Cephas?
Roy Cephas. That's his real name.
Wow.
Like back when he was alive. And so one of the characters in Dalaran, he's an undead, and his name is Roy Cephas Jones. And I tried to give them all like appropriate names for their cast. I just got really tired of private servers where they would have, armor NPC. I'm like, really? Couldn't you have given them a name?
Armor NPC?
Yeah, like some people they'll make custom servers and
I
custom
see.
characters, and then they'll just name it like armor or potions. It's like, okay, fine. I guess it works. But you know how everyone has a name and then a name under that name?
Yeah.
That's where you write potions, bitch.
Advisor to Thrall.
Sorry, here I am.
Not furry.
Not a soul has played my server other than me, and here I am talking shit about all the other servers.
Yeah, well,
Par for the course.
Yeah.
Ha!
There's also no BC public servers. There's only privates.
That is true. Although you might want to be careful how you say the sentence, there's only privates.
Privates. Because.
There's only privates because...
Like BC is because.
Oh, because.
Yeah.
I see.
Some
what
people
you
use
did there.
BC before computers.
And before children for that one, too. I think that one's pretty funny.
Yeah. I don't like it when people call kids small children, or small people. Little people. Small humans. It's like, okay, I get it. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
They are small.
Well, it's the same as those people who have pets and they call them their fur babies. And I'm like, that just makes it sound like you have a weird fetish.
I do call my cat my little man, but not to other people.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't say like, watch out for my little man.
Oh, exactly. And like I've seen people who have like shirts that say, like my dogs are my babies, and I'm like, so you're lonely?
Fur mama.
Yeah. And you just think like, tell me you're single at 40 without telling me you're single at 40.
I also hate that trend.
I know. I do too, but I thought it might
tell
annoy
me
you.
this. Like, it's just so ineloquent. Ineloquent, I guess is a word.
It is, yeah. It's ineloquent.
Yeah. It just takes so long to say.
Yes.
And I don't like knowing what you're gonna say before you say it. That's when I'm kind of like, okay, like fucking speed it up here, Chief. I know what you're gonna say.
Oh yeah. Okay, I know what you mean.
Tell me yours, and I'm like, already I know what you're gonna say. So please just get to it.
Well, that's why I actually really liked that trend for a while, which I don't know, probably still exists. I just don't spend as much time on the internet. See, like these drops are actually kind of crazy.
Yeah.
That's the kind of feedback I might need is like, if drops are too crazy, let me know. But one of the things I really liked was the blank starter pack. So I need to speak to your manager starter pack and shit like that. Oh man, some of those are brilliant.
Well, it's brilliant too when it's someone you know. Like the douchebag, the don't worry about it, bro starting pack. Like that. It's like, I know those people.
Yeah. Oh my God. Some of them were so good.
Yeah.
90s kids starter pack always gets me. Like, you just look at some of those things in there.
Do you know Kill Tony?
Yes.
It's like, and they're pretty ruthless there. I love it when they start going off on somebody, and then that person just takes over and starts to make fun of themselves. Because there was one guy who was like a white guy, and they were implying that he looked like a school shooter, but they didn't say it outright.
Yeah.
They just kind of like said like, I would be worried about this guy or something, and then he goes, "Hey Tony, don't go to school tomorrow." He just leans into it. And that's the best way to approach it, right? Not freaking the fuck out and saying, how dare you, which is hilarious. Because, like, what do you mean, how dare? I just choose to, and then it happens.
Especially if you're at Kill Tony. What did you think you were gonna get when you came here?
Well,
right?
a lot of people go to it's a thing. Every comedian has like endless amounts of stories about inappropriate behavior from the audience. Lots of people go to places and don't consider it their responsibility to understand where they're walking into. It's your responsibility to make sure that this place is what I want it to be. And some places, if they're shitty, actually give into that and go like, well, they're a regular. You know, like they spend money here, so if they shout things at you, then kind of whatever. Right?
Oh, God.
And so the best, I heard of a great one recently where, do you know the only thing that a professional doesn't let get in the way of the work?
No.
Their feelings. So really good comedians have they basically have counter heckle, right? So instead of being upset about something and kind of creating an awkward moment, they are just ready for you, and they're going to blast you until everybody else sees that and goes, oh, I probably shouldn't do that because I don't want to be embarrassed in front of everyone, right? So Bill Burr has this, you remember his old joke about home defense and getting a gun?
Yeah.
So he put .22 caliber into the joke just to antagonize gun nuts. So
Such a Bill Burr move.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a clip where a guy yells out like pussy, and he's like, I got you. He's like, I cast it out and I'm reeling you in, you dumb fuck. He's like, of course I know a .22 is a small. I put that in there for you just to get you to say something.
But it's also so ridiculous, those comments, because I think what people often forget is you're not fighting a war against demons.
No.
A .22 caliber bullet is still a fucking bullet.
Still a bullet. Yeah.
There's a reason you hunt small game with it, right? If it'll blow a rabbit in half, I'm sure it'll be effective for home defense.
My favorite though is Tom Segura.
Doesn't have a good spread.
He goes to he's saying, fuck, I forgot what I was talking about.
Fuck this orb of translocation.
Fuck this orb,
I know how
bro.
to do this.
He goes, he gets up on stage, and a fan, thinking that he's got a connection, because, you know, he's
there.
He's heard hundreds of hours of Tom and feels like he's his buddy, even though Tom doesn't know him. Just starts yelling quotes, and you know, Tom's doing stand-up. So he just turns and goes, it's nice to know where the dumbest person in the room is sitting. Like right up front, and the guy immediately recognized like what he was doing and how inappropriate it was. But it was such a great response. Instead of derailing the conversation and turning it into a whole thing, it's just like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
you know, like Bo Burnham said, it's not a participation sport. Thank you. You spectate. I do the thing. I talk.
That's the rule.
You can talk later. It is funny too when people. There's the thing, and it's not new, but I'm just becoming more aware of it. When people just pretend they don't know what they're doing, like they just go, "What?"
You mean when you're doing something
I'm having fun. What?
Right.
They just ignore it. It's like, you're having fun, but everyone else is having fun without doing that. And I saw a video where there was a guy harassing women in a gym, and really inappropriate. Not just asking them out. It's like he just walks up to them and asks questions about his penis and stuff like that. And so the staff comes and says, you got to leave. And he's like, for what, bro? He just pretends. And they're like, yeah, you got to go. And he's like, if you're going to tell me for what? Well, you're harassing people. No, I'm not. I'm just working out on my own. So they kick him out, and he comes back, even though he's been banned from it. And they say, you got to go. You've been banned. And he's like, for what? So it's like he just goes around in circles, and whether he's a sociopath and doesn't know what he's doing, or, you know, gets a charge off of fucking with people, it doesn't really matter. Point is, he needs to be told, and most people don't need to be told, and that's the problem.
Right. Well, yeah, we don't cater to the worst possible people. That's not how that works.
Yes, we do.
Sorry, we shouldn't cater.
Yes, we shouldn't. We do, but we shouldn't.
Worst possible people.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Just going to ignore that green exclamation mark?
Yeah. Well, I already got all the flight paths.
You're so you're so easily manipulated. I got you.
He
Hook,
did.
line, and sinker.
Shucks.
I did. Yeah, I got you. Now
Gee golly.
You belong to me.
God damn. I guess actually...
The rules of equivalent exchange
Mm-hmm.
claim that I own you.
Well, you know what? Joke's on you, because now I can get trained. If I can find the fucking trainer. He's back here. He's back here.
That moment in Poncho Pals when I tie up Jake and put him on a horse and then tell the horse to run away. And he's like, joke's on you, I was headed this way.
That was weird.
What a strange experience that was.
Doing Poncho Pals or just playing like in general?
Coming home after wondering whether the world was actually going to, like, the fabric of society was going to fall apart, and then distracting myself for a couple hours every night with a buddy playing Red Dead 2. We were basically going back in time. We were pretending that we were cowboys. Yeah,
in a place where none of that was a concern.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, though, it's not like it shouldn't have been. Like there's a part where Arthur gets coughed on by someone with I forget what it is, but it's really serious. And then he doesn't get it, and so people are like, "It's a fake. It's an unrealistic game."
Sorry.
It's like, yeah, but he also pulls weapons out of his butthole. Like, don't worry too much about the realism.
So because he gets sneezed on a guy who's like sick with something, and he doesn't get sick, people were like mad about that?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But people are mad about everything.
Everything.
You know what people are mad about with Starfield?
I don't know. You tell me. You're mad at Starfield.
You can't stand on the surface of the sun. Therefore, they lied about exploration.
Really?
What I'm mad about, I'm not even mad, actually.
I really apologize for this.
What bothers me is that it's got no soul and it doesn't matter and I don't care about it.
Oh, okay.
Because when...
It's just one of those things.
Oblivion, Skyrim, Fallout 4, Fallout 76. 76 was a little rough, but they all had, like, a feeling. Starfield doesn't have a feeling. It feels like it was made in, like, those engines that are designed for indie teams to work on bigger projects because they kind of shortcut certain things. It's kind of what it feels like. It doesn't really do anything. And yet, 9 out of 10s and 10 out of 10s across the board, because if you don't rate a Bethesda game well, you won't get a review copy for the next one.
Ugh,
it's gross.
That is really gross.
But the real problem is that there's always new suckers, right? So people figure out that you shouldn't pre-order, and then some new sucker comes in and goes, man, you can get an extra fucking cape if you pre-order. I know guys just a couple years younger than me who pre-order video games and are super excited for the day they come out, and I'm like, why do that to yourself?
Especially with how disappointing they are these days.
Yeah, it's one thing to pay full price. I have done that. But I've never paid full price for a game before it came out. I mean, not never, but like as an adult, I mean.
Right.
As an adult, I've never just gone like, it's gonna be good, so I might as well just charge in face first. It's so silly. And then you're mad at them when they're just business people. Like, the people who develop games are the artists. The people who sell them are just marketing people. And so they know that there's a part of your brain that just, if you push it right, it makes you feel good, and they just make you feel good all the time.
And they're really good at distorting the truth just enough. Just enough. They're not lying to you.
Well, it depends.
They're pretty much lying to you. Although I guess you're right, there are liars too.
Yeah, certain heads of Bethesda have definitely full-on lied to people.
And we're just gonna pretend this is the Zeppelin coming in, and then this is
gonna
me getting
ride
dropped
the
off. No, like I just got off the boat, you know? Like this is how it should be experienced.
So, like, are we getting all the way to 80?
We could if you want, or
I'm not even paying attention to where your level is at right now.
I am level 69.
Ooh.
Classic. But yeah, it'll actually take a little bit longer to get to 80 than it did to get through 60 there. So we could couch it for next time. I'd be down to play some more next time.
Yeah, that's probably a good way to go about it, and then we can, I don't know, add something after if it doesn't pan out to a full episode.
Yeah, well, I think it would be kind of cool to do some like max level dungeons too.
Wow, max level dungeons. Where can you tell me where this fucking guy is? How are you supposed to get? Oh, how do you get up here?
Oh, there's a lift, but there is often bugs. The lift sometimes stops working, but here's the lift.
Oh.
It's like right... Okay. I do not actually know what happened that time, but I definitely have hit the skybox. I'm still moving.
You're moving so fast.
I hope I don't land in the Alliance City, but I don't see the ground at all. So I'm still moving. I can't tell if I'm coming down, actually. I don't have an altimeter. Oh, man, I'm going to fatigue out soon.
They didn't think that you would need an altimeter.
I guess that's a good point.
Why would they give you that?
Okay. And I'm not even fatiguing out. Even though I'm still very quickly leaving the map.
There are actual speed runs that use stuff like this, where like you fly into a thing at the right angle and it fires you across the level.
Oh my god. Actually, you know what? I might. Nope, that didn't do it.
Can't do that while moving.
Nope. Okay, so
Launching into the stratosphere.
we don't actually have, like, I guess here, let's see what would happen. This is a new bug. We gotta...
Wow. Are you gonna fall though?
Oh my god, I'm right over the Alliance City. I'm right where I did not want to be. I believe I am moving downwards.
The skybox doesn't change, so it's kind of hard to tell if you're falling.
And
I think you're stuck there. Unless you got really high up.
I don't even think you can go that high up though. That's why I'm wondering. Like I can't see anything, so I can't tell if I'm getting closer. And I wouldn't be able to cast this either. Okay, maybe I need an unstuck button. This has never happened to me before.
Yeah, it has to happen. I think this is the Elon car moment.
Yes, this is exactly what it is. I'm gonna toss the bearing really gently this time and hope for the best. All right. Well, okay. So definitely we'll note that. But yes, that's where you can find the elevator, in case you wanted to know.
Wow.
All right. Well, until next time.
Yeah.